All right, so I definitely wanted to make sure that I go on there, and hopefully I'm going to be doing it right this time because this is like my third time attempting to do a live. And so I hope that I got it right this time. Just let me test really quick here and see if it is coming up. I'm not seeing it and I have no idea. I just don't know. I don't know if it's up or not. So bear with me if you just clicked on or if you see me on right now. Just know that I'm trying to get it together here. So this is supposed to be, it is supposed to be live. Um, it does look like how you look it up is coming up. Okay, hold on. Okay, so we're good. All right, so I've been trying to do this for a minute, and hopefully I'm gonna do it right the whole time, so that you all will get some important information. So before you go to vote, it is extremely important that you know who you're voting for. Please bear with my voice. I think I'm coming down with the flu or something. Um, and so I'm doing this out of pure love for um, people because I know so often we get in there and we don't know who these people are. We don't know what these questions mean. Um, and so this gives me an opportunity to share how to do the research before you vote. Now, this can take some time. There's a lot of people running, and so you don't want to go by the name. That's the most important thing. You don't want to go by a name just because they're popular, because popular doesn't mean that they stand for you. Popular could mean they got a big machine behind them, they have money that's being thrown behind them, and those people are who they're really going to be representing, not you. So you do want to be aware of that. So to just get started here, when you're doing your research to see who's going to be on the ballot, you can put into the search bar who's going to be on the ballot for the upcoming election. And if you're in Fulton County, which I'm in Fulton County, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see the sample ballot. You'll see this page first. You'll be able to scroll down and let me make sure it's, I gotta make sure this is switching from page to page. Okay. So you'll be able to scroll down and you'll be able to look at the ballots for um, Democrats, nonpartisan, and Republican. So that's really important that you kind of note that there are different ballots based on how you typically vote. I most of the time vote Democratic, even though I'm an independent. Most of the time, I'm voting Democratic. And so, when you click on the general primary Democratic composite ballot, this is what's going to come up. So, I want to make sure that my screen is changing because this is a problem that I've had in the past. Um, so I want to make sure my screen changes, y'all. So bear with me. Let me see if my screen changes over here. All right. Okay, so it is changing. Okay, So, when I did my first video, I did a brief overview of Jon Ossoff. He is running for the Senate. I did decide that I would not be voting for him. And part of the reason is he missed over 100 days of voting. That's one of the things that came out in my previous research of Jon Ossoff. 100 days of voting he missed. And then my last video, I went over the Democratic candidates for governor. Um, Keisha Lance Bottom was not one of my top contenders because she paid over $30,000 in an ethics fine. Sometimes, as I stated before, those fines are politically based. Those fines are targeted to make certain politicians look a certain way, and so Keisha Lance Bottom, she's an experienced politician, and I felt like she should have known that she was going to be held to a higher standard, and she should not have engaged in any type of activity that would have created a situation where she would have to pay an ethics fine. But she is by far the most popular candidate. I do like Olu. As I stated before, Olu was a contender for me because he is the head of Impact Church, and I love Impact Church. So, just to give you some idea of how to research the way that I did with Olu, we're going to go through the lieutenant governor and all of that, but my research for Olu. So, I opened up a new tab. Opened up a new tab. I put in Olu Brown, Democrat, and then I clicked. So, this is Bing. I usually don't mess with Bing search. Let me see. It just happens to be who I'm looking at now. So Olu is a business owner. He's he's a former pastor. He is a very compassionate person. So I wanted, and that's because I went to Impact Church in the past, and I loved it. It was a great church. Um, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to look at the general overview for Olu. I went to his website. I wanted to see how he put into words what he's going to do and how he's going to contribute as governor. He is a faith leader, and so some people don't believe that a faith leader is qualified to head a political organization. I happen to disagree with that, especially knowing the type of pastor that Olu was. Olu was a person who really wanted to see his community thrive, and he wanted people to stand out as individuals and to bring their gifts, to bring their strongest qualities. So that is why he had a church that grew from where we used to go to see him at, which we used to go to see him at a little cafeteria space in one of the schools, to like a huge facility over off Sylvan Road. And I'm very, see what Olu's going to do. I don't know if he's going to be able to get down and dirty enough to be a successful politician, but here is his platform. Here's the things that he said he wants to make sure he leads Georgia in doing. And so these are all the things that a good Democrat is going to be about. And so the only issue I had with Olu is that he doesn't seem to have a lot of political experience. I didn't see any political experience. And I think if you've never been over there in that arena before, you probably want to start somewhere other than the top. Otherwise, I think Olu is a great person to keep an eye on because he really does have a heart for people, and so I do like Olu. So, what I also encourage anyone to do is don't just stick to the first page of the search result. Like, go through it. So it seems like my camera, hmm, seems like my camera is not sharing my screen. Here we go again. All right. I don't know why this camera is not sharing my screen. Hold on 1 second. Let me see what I can do about this. Okay. So I strongly encourage any and everybody who is going to be voting to, and when you're doing your research, do not just stick with the first page. Go through and see if there is any other information about that person that you need to know about, because so often you're not going to get the information in the first couple of pages that you will really need to make a good decision. Um, and so sometimes you can put controversy and you'll be able to see if there's any controversy about that person. Um, so just doing a real quick search here. Um, when I initially did this search, there was no controversy about Olu. He was pretty strong with keeping himself clean, which is always good. Um, so, again, I won't stick with the first couple of pages. Sometimes I'll go 7 pages deep just to make sure I am getting, any strays, any information that may have come out that they are attempting to hide. Now, somebody who's really trying to hide something, they're going to have it completely scrubbed from the internet. But, there are a lot of people who are running who probably should have got somebody to look a little closer at their online presence. So that is how I conducted my research on the candidates for governor. Now we're going to go to Lieutenant Governor Josh McLaurin. Now, again, this is just one way to do research on these people who are running, but you want to just take your time and um, take a look at what's going on with the people who are running so that you're not just going in there going any, mini, mighty, mo. Like, really and truly give yourself an opportunity to thoroughly investigate these people before you cast your vote for them. So, Josh McLaurin, he's a member of the Georgia State Senate. He is running for lieutenant governor. So, this is his website. Let's see what it says he stands for. He said, Georgia wants leaders who have a spine and tell the truth. Okay, that's true. We definitely want that. He is serving his fourth term, where our state's current Republican leadership bows down to Trump instead of standing up for Georgia. And it's okay. He's a Georgia native. He's an attorney. He's a double dog. All right, he'll stand up to Trump and MAGA bullies. It's time to refocus state government on working people, quality of life. All right, that is the perfect thing to say if you're running for office. So, I don't care as much about endorsements as what people say about what they're going to stand for. So, rising costs, workers' rights, housing, healthcare and reproductive rights, civil rights, and equality. Okay. So I'm not seeing a lot of, I mean, all of these things are important, right? But um, I'm not seeing a lot of detail about how he's going to accomplish these things. And as you know, the devil is always in the details, always. And so I wouldn't say that this is a deal breaker. I will say that um, it's not good enough, especially if he's running against someone who is um, going to really be dynamic in the role and really stand out after multiple attempts. Bill to regulate car booting passes House. The tariffs right now are reducing the prices of futures, so they're losing on. Newsmax asked me why the left uses the word disappearing to describe ICE detention. You got screwed today twice. Let's see what he's talking about. It's gonna be interesting.
United States Senate, Republicans refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies, the enhanced ones that keep millions of people on their health insurance. In Georgia, 1.5 million people are insured under the ACA, and a majority of those people will see their rates go up because Republicans have failed to prevent this spike. I know people personally who are going from $200 a month to $900 a month. It's just unaffordable, and it's going to kick 4 million people off their health insurance nationally. The second way the Georgians got screwed today was the Public Service Commission, in cahoots with Georgia Power, snuck through a big deal that's going to add a bunch of capacity to Georgia Power, which will cost ratepayers, that means you, $20 a month for the next few years. And they say they're going to do downward pressure on those rates of $8.50 a month, but only 3 years from now. A, that's not a guarantee of a rate cut. And B, we're going to have to wait 3 years to see any sort of relief from the increases that they're planning right now. It is.
All right, I actually like this. I like this. He's got fire. He is informative and he is down to earth. So Josh is looking good right now. Josh is looking good right now for me. I don't know why this thing stopped sharing at any moment, but let me bring it back up. Um, so Josh looks like I like how he is presenting what is happening in a very down to earth way. So he's looking like a contender. So the next person is going to be Nabila Parks. I hope I'm saying her name right. So I'm going to look her up. All right, Nabila Parks. All right, so she looks like she's probably Europe. Let's see what her. Okay. Um, so we're on her website now. Let's see what she has to say about her position. All right. So an endorsement by Funny. Yeah, that's not strong for me. Hank Johnson. I am going to remain silent on that. Um, So if you pay attention to people's records, I would say this endorsement from Fonnie and Hank Johnson should be notable to you. Um, and that is all I'll say about that for now, because I want to save my voice for things I really believe in. So, believe in sharing right now. So, she says affordable access to health care, protecting fundamental rights, which is something one of the people she's endorsed by doesn't really know anything about. Parental leave and maternal health, strengthening our public schools and supporting our teachers, keep communities safe. Okay. Um, this is what every Democrat should say. I'm seeing nothing that stands out as impressive or um, adequate to tell me what she really stands for. So she's going out, she's doing, so she's talking to the news, which is that's one thing. Lieutenant Governor spar over ability to flip seat, work with GOP majority. Islam, Parks, Nabila. Okay. She's from Bangladesh, okay. I want to really get into. She is also the vice chair of the Gwinnett County. As a daughter, she takes pride, is proud of Gwinnett County. All right. So again, this is a resume without a lot of detail. It's in terms of what are you doing besides looking good on paper? How are you reaching out to people? How are you creative about solving our problems? Telling me that you're going to do this and that, and the other without telling me specifically how, or looking at um, looking at the okay. Here's her why I'm running for office. All right. She's a staunch advocate for Georgia families, fighting to lower drug costs, make healthcare more affordable, fund out schools, expand Medicaid, protect our freedoms. Okay. So that again, this is honestly, this is from what I've seen, this is what people do when they are not that strong of a candidate. Um, I have no idea what she's going to stand for. I have no idea. I'm, I have no idea how she's going to accomplish the things she's going to accomplish. And with what we have at stake, that's not good enough. We need to know how you're going to do the things that you say you're going to do. And so she's not someone that I would vote for. And so going back to the list, Richard N. Wright. All right, so Richard N. Wright. So I am going to look up his position. All right, right for Georgia. Let's see. Candidate for lieutenant governor. Okay. He's running for governor. Here to be your voice, not a career politician. Let's share this screen. He says, I'm a real leader who puts people first. My story is one of hard work, determination, commitment, passions for public service. Improve my community is what led me to run for office. He's a community leader, experienced professional. All right, so his platform, let's take a look. His platform is uh, Georgia Jobs Act, expand Medicaid, create 300K new jobs, increase GDP, additional tax revenue, rural area hospitals, medical professional outreach program, expand blue collar certification programs, uplifting small business, robust WOTC expansion, credit opportunities, creating new credits to remain competitive, advanced manufacturing STEM Act, expanding manufacturing in rural Georgia, programs starting in middle school. So, how are you going to do this? Are you going to give away? Are you going to give away free this, free that, no taxes for 20 years to expand manufacturing in rural Georgia? How are you going to do this? Historical tax rates, legalize cannabis. Okay, that's good. Expungement, that's good. Grant for underserved communities, that's also good. Sales tax seminar as part of state annual registration, raising over 50 million. Okay, I don't know what that is, but all of these show that he is creative and he is a realist. We need someone who's going to be real with their solutions. Sustained Growth Housing Act, Sandowski Act, Hand Up programs, expanding workforce, housing, education opportunities. That's, I have no idea what that means. So he'll be a voice for Georgians. He'll work across party lines to find common ground, prioritize the needs of working families. So let me see. Right now he is neck and neck with the first guy. So let me see if there are any controversies about Richard. I know he's strong on saying that he's not a career politician, which can be good because he's not he's not engaging in some of the crooked stuff they can sometimes engage in, but that doesn't mean, as we can see by the person who's in the White House now with no formal political experience, that doesn't mean he's still going to put our best interest at heart. All right. Okay. They call him a moderate Democrat. So, does this mean he's corporate? Is he a corporate Democrat? So let's see what this says. So we can listen to that. You can listen to his interview with the Town Square podcast. Um, so he moved to Atlanta from North Carolina with no real career. Beyond trying to make it in music, he came to the city helping to become a rapper. He felt maybe walk on at Georgia's Tech. It sounded like the usual opening. Explain how he injured his ankle playing basketball just before arriving in Atlanta, not as a rising star, but juggling as a limping rapper. The honor, the humor worked because Wright embraced it. He laughed at himself, talked about his old rap names, and let listeners hear. All right, so from dropped out student to CPA. I want to show this person. The episode was hearing the arc of Wright's educational story. Wright is not running on the claim that he had spent years climbing a partisan political ladder. He's running on the idea that his life experience, financial background, and ability to talk to ordinary people give him a different kind of credibility. Okay. All right. He's a moderate Democrat in the messy middle. At several points, Trey and Wright locked in on one of the themes that has become central to both Town Square in this campaign, the political middle. Wright describes himself as a moderate Democrat. His website makes the same case that Georgia needs leadership centered on common sense solutions, collaboration, and helping working families rather than feeding the loudest extremes. That opened the door to one of the best stretches of the interview. Know that many people on both the left and right will hear the phrase moderate Democrat and wonder if such a thing even exists anymore. Wright leaned into that tension. He argued that the far right and far left often dominate attention, fundraising headlines, but that most Georgians are more practical than ideological. In his framing, the loudest people may get the microphones, but they do not necessarily. All right, so tell me what it means and stop going on about nothing. The idea clearly resonated, repeatedly emphasized that people want effective schools, reasonable taxes, economic opportunity, practical leadership. Argued that the middle is not weak or confused, it is underrepresented, often drowned out. This is exactly the kind of candidate conversations were built to host. Civility as a governing strategy. One of Wright's clearest arguments for why he should be the Democratic nominee centered on civility. Georgia's lieutenant governor presides over the state senate. In the current political environment, that means leading a chamber where partisan tension. Okay, he argued that his experience as an outsider can actually be an advantage, and he's telling existing relationships between some candidates may already be damaged or hardened by partisan history. He suggested that he could enter the chamber with a different tone, not surrendering principles, but also not defining success as constant combat. All right. Why I think this is a potential trap. When you don't understand that the issue that the Democrats have been having, whether it's locally or on the national scale, is that they're not tough enough. The idea of going in there and thinking that your tone is going to um, move the needle, on the one hand, it's naive. On the other hand, I want to say it is problematic. Lieutenant governor is a pretty big position um, if you don't have prior experience. I don't I don't think that I don't think you might be aware of what you're up against. Um, so let's see what is saying. You connected the dots. In rural hospitals close, communities become less attractive for new business. If communities are less attractive, population investment lag. If population with somebody test based stays, we test based. Okay, well, what sees? Okay, wants to see public policy not as disconnected line items, but as an ecosystem, housing affordability and private equity and understand. No, why should you private equity carry interest tax incentives? No, no, and anytime you start talking about private equity is the reason that everyday people are getting screwed in so many different areas. It's not even funny. So for him to bring up private equity, he's out. So let's go back to let's go back. So he's out. She's out. So I'm going to be voting for Josh McLaurin for the Democratic candidate for lieutenant governor. Let's look at Secretary of State. So Cam Ashling. I've never heard of any of these people. I've never heard of any of these people. So this is gonna be my first time considering what these people might stand for. So Cam Ashling. So Cam is on Ballotopedia, and I see an interview with WABE. I see Factually. But where is Cam's website? All right. So it appears Cam Ashling does not have a website. Now, what does that mean? That means a website, which is about $200 a year. That means she's not looking to invest any money into letting you know who she is. Um, yeah, so um I I'm seeing nothing of let me share my screen. I'm seeing nothing of value from this particular Ballotpedia entry about Cam Ashling. It doesn't tell me her record. Hold on, let me see. Campaign website. Okay, maybe. Okay, here's a website. I was about to say that's looking weird that you wouldn't invest in a website, but it isn't coming first couple of results when I searched her name, which is kind of weird. So she's a business owner, financial expert, protector of Georgia votes. That is important. She's not a career politician. She's a small business owner, former licensed stockbroker, livestock farmer, single mother who understands how Georgia works. Her family came to Gwinnett as a political refugee from Vietnam. Oh, wow. Arriving with a single aluminum trunk and the determination to build a better future. Okay. All right. That's quite a story right there. The only financial expert in the race. Okay. While others taught politics, she understood the mechanics of power, business registration, licensing, fraud detection, two of the most demanding credentials in finance, certified financial planner, chartered alternative investment analyst. So she's big with numbers. Not just talking about election integrity, doing the work. All right, so she's done some real stuff. Um, she has done some real stuff. Of course, I was on the wrong page. All right, so this is her website, of course, asking for money out the gate. She's a business owner. Um, she's a political refugee. It's a pretty good story. She's a financial expert in her own words. She's got those credentials, which to me is a plus. Secretary of State is someone who's supposed to be really good with numbers, highly ethical, and able to um, make sure that fraud detection, risk rewards, and financial accountability is uh, a focus. And so I do like that. I do like hearing that. She's also sued the state of Georgia over the takeover clause. And I like that. Proven civic leader, builder. So she has an Asian American legal advocacy progress political action committee, Asian American Action Fund. So I'm sorry, y'all. I'm starting to feel kind of bad. I want to finish this, but I also want to be pleasant to listen to. So, um, she looks strong. I will definitely be considering her, Cam Ashling. I hope that she has someone working on getting her name as the top result when people do a search. Um, so Dana Barrett. Let's check out Dana Barrett. Let's see. Okay. All right. She's looking for money. All right. So she's another small business owner. She knows how to run a tech operation. She knows how to protect your vote. She's been doing it for years as a Fulton County Commissioner. Okay. So many people have duplicate platforms. All of them are talking about, so many people have that those same talking points. Oh, we need to make things more affordable. Oh, we need to protect a woman's right to choose, or we need to make sure we create jobs. But exactly how do you plan to do that? That's what the big deal is. Um, so um, let's see what her platform is. So she doesn't have I don't see her platform here. She doesn't have a place where she's outlining in a lot of great detail um, what she stands for and what she's going to do. Justifying Fulton Commissioner enters Secretary of State race. A Democratic Fulton County Commissioner who blocked Republican election board nominees in defiance of a judge is running. Okay, so she has got fire. Let's take a look at this, y'all. And this was just in January. A Democratic Fulton County Commissioner who blocked Republican election board nominees in defiance of a judge's order is running to become. All right, so this is what you want to hear. This is what you want to see. She announced her candidacy. She won her seat representing Buckhead, Sandy Springs, Midtown after defeating a longtime Republican incumbent. She worked as a tech executive, radio host, and small business owner. Okay, so she's a fighter. She's the best candidate to stand up against the Trump administration. This past summer, I was threatened with jail time when I said no to the MAGA extremists trying to stack the board with election deniers. We stopped them for now, but the fight is not over. All right, so I like her. I like her a lot. She's in the head for me. I need to see where a person stands when it comes to what we're talking about. Cam was fine, but Dana's in the lead for me, and it's because she was willing to stand on business about our votes in Fulton County. And so, even though she's from the Hootie Tootie part of town, I am going to give her a chance. I'm doing a live right now about how to find out who's running and who you need to vote for. So, Dana Barrett is in lead for Secretary of State for me. All right, Penny Brown Reynolds. She's a former judge. Let's see. So I'm not seeing her. Let's see, Ballotopedia. Maybe that's where her website. Again, you're running for office. Your website should probably be the first thing people find when they look up your name. So let's see what her candidate website says. So here's a priority: protect voting rights, restore public trust, empower small business and entrepreneurs, modernize professional licensing and cutting bureaucracy, safeguarding seniors and vulnerable Georgians from fraud, transparency, technology, and trust. I don't even know what that means. Okay, we can learn more. Let me see. All right, this is what every Democrat should say. Yes, we believe in transparency, technology, and trust. We believe in modern professional licensing and cutting bureaucracy, empowering. Like, this is kind of, maybe this is not what most of them focus on, but yeah, I don't see anything here that shows her drive, her commitment, her understanding of how we need to have her show up at this time when it's really, really messed up. So let's go back to the results if we want to find some controversy. So let's do that. And she's a former judge, so there's a good chance she's not going to be involved in any controversy. She's probably played it pretty straight. So, okay. So I'm not seeing a lot of creative or outstanding reporting on what she's going to bring to the table. And I'm glad that there is a Black woman running. I'm glad there's an Asian woman. I'm glad there are women running, period. But it's not enough to just be a woman. You also have to recognize the game you're in. This isn't a beauty contest. It is a role that requires someone with ethics and a backbone to really be able to hold their own with what is a male dominated system. And so, all right. So I lost my, whatchamacallit again. Let me see if I can get it. So, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything that lets me know she is really a serious contender. She is really going to hold her own against the good old boy system. And so I'm 5 pages in and I'm hearing about her TV stint, and I'm not hearing anything about what we care about as Georgians. Oh, she's not a good contender for me. Now we're gonna go to the last person here. So this is Adrian Consonery Jr. All right, right out the gate, he's got his website together. All right, he is running because, okay, he starts out with the votes counting. I'm trying to make sure my story the last of its kind. Every voter deserves confidence. Their voice matters. A ballot counts. That's important. But to ensure that every Georgia can vote safely, confidently, with fair. Yeah, that is important. What work have you already done? Dedicated my career advocacy, civic engagement, community empowerment. All right, being involved, collaborated with business leaders. Okay. So it looks like he's going to focus a lot on the voter issue, which is huge. But he doesn't appear to already be in a political role, which means we don't know if he knows the animal he's getting ready to stand up to. Let's see if there's anything controversial or anything we need to be concerned about here. So I'm not I'm not seeing I'm not seeing anything that makes me feel like, oh wow, this is a person I really feel strongly about voting for. I'm not seeing it, and I'm on the 4th page, and they're not even talking about him anymore, except to say he's one of the candidates running. So that's not a good sign. So for me, Dana Barrett is going to be the person that I vote for, because she has a track record of standing up for the Georgia voter who had our votes stolen. Doggone it! I'm still like really pissed about that. So I'm gonna say right out the gate, I 100% support Tanya Miller for Attorney General. Why? Why should you support her? Tanya Miller is the real deal. I previously interviewed her for a crime story that I was doing, and I learned that she's the lawmaker who is responsible for making sure that we have body cam footage from the officers available to us. Like she strongly supported the body camera issue for officers, and that has been a game changer. You have no idea what um, people will get away with if they are not on camera. People will try to get away with if they're not on camera. And so Tanya Miller has she has stood on business. She stood up for the law. She's made sure that she represents people fairly, and she's energized for her community. Her area has been going through a lot of changes, but she's been really active about making sure that she supports the growth in that community. And so I'm biased, I'll admit it. She's a civil rights attorney, she's a former prosecutor, she's a state representative, she's a mother. So, because I interviewed her, I know her record, I will tell you right now, she would make a hell of an attorney general. She is an incredible person. And I hope that you all have a chance to look at more of her website issues and all of that, because she's a real one. All right, now her opponent is Robert Bob Trammell. So let's see what Robert Bob Trammell has going for it. All right. Oh, wow. Why does he look Republican to me? It's something in the face. Something about how they hold their faces. They can look very Republican to me. Let's see. Meet Bob. He's running for Attorney General. All right. He believes justice shouldn't depend on your zip code, your bank account, or your connections. It's simply the right of each and every Georgian. He grew up in a once stoplight town in Luthersville in Meriwether County. He served 3 terms in the House of Representatives, including 4 years. All right, so that's his resume. Let's see what he stands for. Why I'm running. Is that okay? Protecting what matters most, protecting our community, stop human trafficking, fighting drugs, and dismantling gangs. No, no, no. No, no, no. He's Republican. Yeah, yeah. Our economy is strong in workers and environment protected music treatment, fair treatment, safe workplace, preserving natural resources, protecting our wallets, fraud and financial scams, especially seniors from Ponzi scheme to predatory will hold bad actors accountable, close the loopholes. Families should be able to protect our rights. Georgia Street comes from rights and freedoms, huh? I'm doing a live protecting us online. We need stronger safeguards and accountability for tech partners and real protection so Georgians can be safe. Yeah, but that's not as that's not, I don't wake up in the middle of the night thinking I need somebody to protect me online, like we are paying software people safeguard protections for that. So I am going to wrap it up here. Just to do a recap, I'll be voting for Tanya Miller because of her record. Um, really standing up for the community and making sure that she has common sense approaches to the things that we are dealing with. So it's Tanya Miller for Attorney General for me. It'll be Dana Barrett for Democrat Secretary of State for me, because she stood on business and she refused to allow two Trump brain dead uh, cult members to stack the court, to stack the voting board. And then for lieutenant governor, it's going to be Josh McLaren. I like that he's down to earth, that he speaks to people in a language that is relatable, and he really showcased what was happening with the Georgia Power issue and the Affordable Care Act. And then for governor, again, I am going to probably be voting. It's between Derek Jackson and Jason Estevez. Derek Jackson is someone that I really was leaning towards because he has experience, he has bills that he's already passed, and he had a pretty good looking platform. Jason Estevez did also. And for reasons I discussed in a previous live, I will not be voting for Jon Ossoff. All right, so in my next live, I am going to cover Agriculture Commissioner, Commissioner of Insurance, which is something we desperately need, State School Superintendent, Labor Commissioner, and Public Service Commissioner. So that's who I'll be going over in the next one. This is a lot of races, y'all, and these break down by the district, but these are a lot of races that will be coming up. So I hope you all have a chance to do your homework before you get out here and go vote for people that you might know nothing about, and you have no idea who's paying them. You just know their name. That is not good enough. We need to really know who we're voting for when we make these decisions. All right, y'all have a good one. Sasha,